Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, Noel and Vinnie.
And we are a pair of rankers. And this week, we're going to be looking at superheroes and villains and people that rip them off by making other superheroes and villains that are similar to them, pretty much.
Sums it up quite simply, yeah.
Yeah, so like Noel, we put this list together pretty quickly, like we'd like to do on rankers. All about like we're all about the gut instincts when it comes to rankers. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you overthink it. You get into the mires. We're a bit long in the tooth. We've seen some of this stuff.
Yeah,
you thought like, oh, okay, I see what this is.
Yeah, exactly. So like we know when something is fucking ripping shit off, and it's like not only supervillains and superheroes, they've been doing it for decades and decades and decades, but they're not the only ones that are guilty of it. But they're the ones we're going to be looking at today. So we're going to throw these motherfuckers to the fire, and we're going to see which ones that we've chosen that we think are the biggest ripoffs, or even the best ripoff, maybe, or best alternate version.
Role reversal. You go first, motherfucker.
Oh, I go first.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just feeling fancy.
All right, cool. Just let me get my backups going or my backgrounds going here. All right, cool. So I'm going first, which is kind of weird for me. So my number.
I'll go first if it means a lot to you.
No. My number 5 is Ant-Man. So pretty much Ant-Man for me, I think, is a complete ripoff of the DC character Atom, which we saw in Legends of Tomorrow. We saw in the Arrow TV series.
Superman himself, Brandon Routh.
Yeah, exactly. So when I tried to weigh these two up, I didn't try to look at how aesthetically they look, but as well as the power sets and how they're in comparison. And then I also had to go back and check, see which one was invented first, so I can actually make my decision be correct. So Atom seemingly came out a good few years, I think, before Ant-Man, and their powers are almost identical. Both of them control matter, or sorry, not matter, but both of them control atomic particles and their size, and both of them can shrink, and both of them can grow to ginormous size.
Quantum realm, all that jazz.
Yeah, so like, what do you think of my choice? I think Ant-Man's a good pick. He's a bit of a
the slight spoiler alert is it didn't make my list, which I always love. Yeah, but but no, actually, it is a good choice, and they are like not only that, but they're like B-listers on their Justice League Avengers.
Yeah,
like they're at the table for sure.
Yeah,
but they're not Spider-Man. They're not Batman. So yeah, no, it's a great choice, and there's a huge amount of overlap. Atom, from what I've read in comics, he tends to live in the much smaller realm.
Yeah,
like we're talking like on your brain kind of thing, like, you know, what running between neurons. But no, absolutely, size manipulation. That's what it boils down to. Yeah. And they took Ant-Man. They said, "Look, control over ants, so he can go big," and a few other things. But yeah, no, of course, complete ripoff.
Yeah, Yeah, so what's your number 5, motherfucker? That's fine.
My number 5, actually, I'm going to inception you. My number 5 is Trickster. They said, like, what if we had everything that everyone loves about Joker, but no follow-through?
Even Mark Hamill.
And that's the inception of it, man. Mark Hamill played him the only time he made live action. And it's the same. He's got, like, you know, he's got springs in the soles of his feet. He's got trick guns. He's got, you know, dice that are grenades, whatever you mean. It's all just a bit like jazzy or something, you know. It's all just, no, it's what it seems. It's all very silly, but I'm actually like a threat or whatever. And it's just Joker without any of the follow through or any of the grit, and just like, even Joker's bad jokes, because the Joker is never actually a funny character. He never actually says anything that's funny, but the manicness of him is so entertaining. Yeah. And it has the manicness, but none of the follow through. And oddly enough, this is DC against DC. So DC just played themselves for no reason.
Yeah, and the Riddler as well is kind of similar to the Joker as well.
Similar, but at least his gimmick is far enough removed.
Oh, completely different.
Like he's eccentric and all of that. I'll give you all that. And he's not above killing people, all of that kind of stuff. But at least his gimmick is far enough removed. Look at the gesture here. It's very 90s to be fair, but it is. It's just it's that slapstick. Yeah. It's that 60s Joker. And he'll always be that. And again, you know, he's on the Rogues. That's kind of the highest he ever got. You know, on kind of more of a Flash bad guy. But yeah, no, I just saw a cheap ripoff. But like, I was just like, you have the Joker, just leave it alone. It's imagination, man. Push out the boat a bit.
Yeah, I'm I don't actually know a lot about the Trickster, but like,
nor should you. That's kind of my point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so when you have something like the Joker and even have the Riddler as well, I don't think you need to go down that road anymore. You went
No,
down, you went down it twice, and you came back with 2 gems.
no.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, excuse me. You went down it twice. You came back with 2 Oscars.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You
like,
know what I mean? Like, I
hmm.
mean, man, we're talking a comic book character.
Yeah,
Came back with 2 Oscars.
yeah. Like, man, like the
Batman's
Joker.
not going to do it.
Yeah, the
And Batman's
Joker.
been doing, you know,
Like, he's probably the most iconic villain of all time.
he has to be.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Has to be.
to create anything that's similar to him, leaving yourself open for
You can
comparisons is
understand the
insane.
temptation,
Yeah,
but you shouldn't do it.
yeah, you shouldn't do it because like you got it right the first time around.
Exactly. And that's it. Just don't mess with perfection. And people do. All right. Hit me with your number 4.
Hit me with your number 4. My number 4 is Hawkeye.
Yeah. Green Arrow, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Robin Hood.
And Robin Hood. Actually, you know what? Sorry.
No.
You throw me. No, but you have, though. You've actually thrown me a curveball there because I suppose I kept it very, very much myself inside of the comic universe. But like Batman had a Zorro.
Yeah,
like, there would have been no Batman without Zorro.
Well, it was supposed to be superheroes that rip off superheroes. You know?
Yeah, well, that's fair. But also
you could say Lone Ranger.
Your point kind of rings true. Anyway, yeah, accuracy is actually something that I'm into as a superpower. And a lot of people aren't. I'm like, God, you know what you could do if like, and not just like straight bullets, but you know what you could do if you could flick a bottle cap.
Yeah,
on 4 corners of a room and choke out somebody on the far side. You know what I mean? Like it's an insane thing to think about, but it is a complete ripoff. Who came first? The other one's ripping it off. Whether you love them or hating them, the one that came first is ripping off the other one. They're not just is it accuracy, it's trick arrows. Man, they're the same hero.
Yeah. I know Green Arrow, if you look at his aesthetic, obviously gets more inspiration from Robin Hood, which is clear from his aesthetic and shit. But like, if you look at Hawkeye and Green Arrow, the power sets are nearly almost identical. Green Arrow came first, so as you said, if one comes first, whoever comes
when they're
second,
that similar.
Yeah.
Sorry, no.
Yeah. So for me, Hawkeye is my number 4 ripoff of superheroes. What's your number 4, motherfucker?
Okay, well, this one, this one would have been actually probably my number 1 had I not enjoyed the show. And Moon Knight is see, he's different enough that I have to give him a lot of respect because, you know, the Egyptian lore and all of that. But he is their street level, as me and you have a tendency to say, as in like, you know, when Superman's fighting, like, I don't know, when Superman's fighting Darkseid or something like that, then it's on a huge scale. But this guy's like stopping muggers as well, like in back alleys and stuff. But he's gritty and he hurts people. And he leaves them, not kills, but hurts really, really bad. And he's kind of their answer to him in a weird way. I respect that they've made him different enough, but it's also extremely obvious that he's even like he could run with some of the overpowered Thorish kind of characters, even though he's more of a street level thing, but because he's smart, he's capable, and he's willing.
Yeah.
And he's got a huge skill set. And that's Batman. Batman's intelligence puts him on a team with a guy that can run through the light barrier and travel through time, and a guy who could probably push the moon out of orbit. He's that much of a tactician and a close combat fighter and all, and resources and what have you. So yeah, Moon Knight was obviously would not exist if Batman didn't exist. And I don't think, you know, like, I don't even think that would be argued. To be fair, it's not like there's a huge people going, no, that's not fair. No, it's fair enough to have taken reverence for someone, but
I think the aesthetics are very different. The backstory
very different.
I
respect that.
You know, like the whole Egyptian god lore and all that makes him almost a superhero, whereas Batman's just a vigilante, really. Like, he's the pinnacle of humans and what a human can do. Whereas,
well, Moon Knight has actually changed over the years. You know what I mean?
Well, he has multiple personalities. Give me
yeah. But he does. I know, like, the comparisons aren't as direct, especially.
Yeah,
and I do concede this, especially when you hit me with a Hawkeye, and we're not even talking about having the same ability set. We're talking about their approach to the ability set being exactly the same. And when the ability set is something when the weapon is something as specific as trick arrows, not just like good with guns, like the Punisher. Well, yeah, a lot of people use guns and like no, trick arrows.
Yeah.
then then you have me beat. But Moon Knight wouldn't exist without Batman. I could have gone with some more obvious examples, but they do just well, it is Marvel's answer. It's like an acceptable answer.
Yeah,
and it actually is acceptable because they're so different.
When you look at Dark Knight, Moon Knight,
yeah,
you know what I mean, like see the inspiration there.
But exactly, but even like if I needed somebody who could get the job, like if I needed somebody on the Marvel roster, especially like the live action roster, who could get in there and get the job done, can think on their feet. You know what I mean? Like somebody who can get, and somebody who's a lot afraid to do the dirty work. That would for Justice League, that was Batman. He'll make the hard choices.
Yeah.
And for I think Avengers now going forward, that's going to be Moon Knight. And don't get me wrong, he's not going to be able to punch Thor in the jaw and do him any damage whatsoever, but he's still not to be fucked with. And there are an awful lot. There's a Venn diagram and there's an awful lot in between them. But I respect that they gave him enough background to make him different enough. I do have to own that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, there's definitely inspiration there, but like Marvel are clever enough at times when they take inspiration from something, they come up with a brand new idea off the back of it, but you can see the inspiration there.
Not always, but like, yes, absolutely. This is a classic example. I was going to go with a few of the Superman ones, but the list I researched was so exhausting. I went with none of them.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy lists over the last day or so. No, every day, like an hour, 2 hours ago before
2 hours. 2 hours. So, and we spent an hour of that podcast.
Yeah. So like like I can see the inspirations between Moon Knight and the Dark Knight Batman. So like that you can obviously tell, like someone's like, Dark Knight's really cool. Well, what's like the dark? What comes out in this dark? Oh, the Moon Knight. And then you could tell that they probably come up with the name and then start reverse engineering like the whole Egyptian lore, the whole thing with Khonshu and all these things, and how they built outwards probably from the original idea, and it was probably initially a lot more similar to Batman from his initial interpretation. So
I have a superhero that makes it like comes out at night and makes you go to sleep, and his name is Night Night.
Yeah, I like
that. Night.
And just uses roofies to swing people. And like chloroform. He's like special powers, like a bottled chloroform. Just like you have failed the city, and he just like
okay.
All right, so that's your number 4, and this is my number 4. And like the reason I
picked, this is your number
3. Sorry, you fucking incepted the whole world. Like no, you didn't. You tended me. You inverted everything.
I did.
I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if I'm you or if you're me. I don't even know what these choices I'm making right now are my own. Like this could actually be your choices that you've actually incepted into my head.
Yeah.
While you were inverting my world.
I'll know by what your choice actually is if it worked.
All right, so my choice, and the reason I picked this, it had to be on my list because not only is the aesthetics very similar, but the guy who created it himself also came out and said that he is a ripoff of another famous character.
Deadpool.
No, but like so this time it's a villain, and he's actually at the moment probably more famous in a lot of circles, but he did rip off another character that we bear our name for one of our other podcasts, and that is Thanos. So when Thanos was being created, the exact same picture. Amazing.
Exact same placing, yes, man, is the thing you need to be focused on.
Did you fucking incept me? So
yeah, no, I did. Yeah.
That's good.
Exact same picture in the exact same placement.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Did we just fucking neural handshake?
We did, yeah. We 100% did.
Stop drifting with me. Casey knows rabbit.
Still, we aren't going to jump over this. We're both going to give our reasons.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So I read an article a while back. So the guy who created Thanos, he was creating him, and he was mimicking off one of the Dark Side of Titan. And
he's an old god, a new god. Sorry.
Yeah, so he was mirroring him off one of the other Titans, and some guy came into the room, and I can't remember his name. He literally said to him, "If you're going to rip off one of the Titans, why don't you rip off the best one?" And that was Darkseid, and that's how Thanos was created. So like,
there you go. It's on the nose.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's as clear as day that it's a ripoff. But like right now, it's crazy because of Marvel's success. Thanos is probably more famous to a lot of people than Darkseid
is more famous.
Yeah, and I barely knew anything of Thanos growing up.
Oh yeah, well, like I mean, I brought my nephews and this movie. I know that it's they don't know who Darkseid is, but
Your
they know who
nephews, they're
Thanos
the
is.
little dudes you make work in your chocolate factory. Don't fucking lie, man. You know what I mean? Excellent singers. On a dime, they will whip out a song.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not listening.
absolutely. Oompa Loompa, Gobbity, save us. um, but but anyway, no, but like at the same time, I'll always be. For me, it's never. It's great when you have those really powerful characters, and they took Thanos with the whole Infinity Gauntlet, falling in love with Lady Death in the comics, and wiping out half the universe. In my head, actually, it was always half the universe is in like the left side of the universe, and the right side was completely spared, or you know what I mean? Like it was. I was always. He seems so stupid to me now, but he always. But he, so you can never argue with that. But Darkseid to me was the actual character was like this planet, each planets that he runs, you know, and he had this whole army, and he was kind of more evil, just out and out evil, just seeking power, and he carried himself in a way that was a lot more scary to me. That Thanos, when they brought him to live action, was they made him somewhat sympathetic, as in it's ultimate eradication and it's evil, but there was this like, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Like Tony Stark levels genius, and I've seen it, and I know it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And this has to be done, as awful as it is. And that doesn't, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, of course, he's still the bad guy, but it was good story building. Like, it just was. And but Darkseid to me was just carries himself in a way where he's just so cool. He's just simply cooler to me. And I don't care if one person has killed more or anything like that, because it's not about Darkseid is cooler to me. So I'll always kind of side with Darkseid. It's not even like, oh, like if you read comics, you'd know. Just do, because in the comics, Thanos is a wicked motherfucker.
Yeah.
I've read comics where Thanos goes back in time to stop Thanos. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And there's a baby Thanos. There's a whole fucking thing. Thanos is an excellent character, but there's nothing. But he obviously took. And admittedly, in fact, you know, like, I mean, these people admitted, like, complete credit to them. And and this is the thing where people go, how dare they? How dare they? And I always think, like, as a bass player or something, I always think that sounded a bit like such a bass player, and is going, good, thank you. What an excellent compliment.
Yeah, of course.
Because that person's one of my fucking heroes. So when I threw that in, it was something I learned from a DVD I bought of his that was how to play like him. And I can't do what he does the way he does, or as well as he does. But I'm glad that came true, because I'm actively trying to do it. And I'm actively telling people I'm trying to do it. So it's not like I'm trying to be him. It's that I respect him and I want to incorporate some of that cool stuff. And you can't copyright a certain type of badassery. I think Darkseid the Thanos is a very respectable way for. I'm sorry, you put an idea out there, you'll always come first, but that kind of like shit, that inspired something in me.
Yeah.
And there's and again, Darkseid wouldn't be the first thing. It was somebody before that, all the way back to the caves. And but it's a great choice though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you take inspiration from someone and completely create your own thing from that inspiration, I think that should be lauded in its own right. You know what I mean?
But that brings me back to musician thing. That's how people build themselves up.
That's what I'm saying. Like
they want this of this and the this of this, and they come up with all of a sudden a new style of art is fucking born. I mean,
yeah, man. Like, because like when they say when you're writing, you should be reading. Because like one thing I noticed, like when I started reading more often, more novels, like, and like just kept fucking. Like last year, I read like a dozen novels or something crazy, like just like a crash course. You know what I mean? Like just a crash course in fucking
because sorry, I was podcasting in your house at the time, and you were trying to get through. Sorry, I was just about to say you were trying to get through literally an actual measured amount.
Yeah,
like get through one a month. Get through one a month, an actual measured amount that you could just like. Because you're right, because obviously you're just going to go alone, and you weren't born in 1781 where you have to. There is wealth of information now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and what I did was I just started looking at things that were in similar genres to me, and I started looking at how people that are far more talented than I am, how they create things, and like whether or not I'll ever be as good as them is one thing, but like I can try encapsulate a little bit of their style or a little bit of their structure or a little bit how they hit beats, and if I can do that and create my own style off the back of it, that's what like Marvel did with Thanos. That they pretty much took inspiration from Darkseid, someone that's completely iconic in his own right, and they created their own character, their own fucking backstory, their own greater universe on the back of him. And then look at the way the MCU's incorporated him. Like, so he is a ripoff, and it's undeniable, but he's a very good ripoff. And I think that's something like that has to be said about this list, that a lot of these are ripoffs, but they are good ripoffs. Like Hawkeye's a great ripoff. If you're going to make a ripoff Green Arrow, they didn't dwindle that ripoff. Wasn't shit, like, you know. So like you make someone like Hawkeye who's become an iconic character, like, so. And that's the thing about this list, that they are ripoffs, but a lot of them are fucking good ripoffs. So that's your number 3, and that's my number 3. It's really confused me that I'm going first. So my number 2 is the man himself, Deadpool.
Yeah. Go ahead. Work on me here.
Like Slade Wilson, Wade Wilson.
Which was great. You know what was great about this? It's Deathstroke, isn't it?
Yeah, Deathstroke.
Yeah. And there was, I think it might have been this year where a guy was like, oh no, he's not like a rip-off of Deathstroke because blah 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 blah. The guy goes, no, he is. I don't know if the guy used the word rip-off, taken
inspiration from,
like, yeah, taking inspiration from, whatever you like. And and the guy argued, he goes, no, like, I developed the character, like me.
Yeah,
I'm Deadpool's daddy. I met that. I'm his mammy.
Rob Liefeld, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. You always have a tendency to know these things better than me. But the guy was like, yes, I did. I did take inspiration from Deathstroke.
Yeah, 100%.
I did.
Look at the aesthetics.
And I gave him the credit because look at the aesthetics, swordplay, regenerative capabilities, assassin. Like, I'm not that like bounty hunter, assassin, whatever, but like definitely not like Batman, like no matter how many times the Joker's escapes, he brings him back alive. No, not Deadpool, not Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Enhanced fighting abilities, all of that.
Wade Wilson, Slade Wilson.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's a bit on the nose when you put it that way.
Yeah, you know, so like Deadpool has become iconic, but fucking Deathstroke, he's a cool motherfucker as well. Like, if when Arrow were allowed to use him before DC, you were like, oh no, we're going to take all these cool characters out of your show, we're going to put them in movies that were never made. But like Manu Bennett played Deathstroke on Arrow, and I thought he's a fucking man. Just the look of that character is fucking awesome, and it's clear to see when you weigh up Deadpool against Deathstroke. And as you said, Rob Liefeld, I'm pretty sure this guy invented Deadpool, that he said he took clear inspiration from Deathstroke. And like, but it's like the Thanos thing. He went and created these whole, like, there is so many the same moving parts, but like the sum was very different than the whole was very different than than its parts, because Deadpool is very different in a way than Deathstroke. Because Deathstroke,
massively.
Yeah,
and again, like it would take me down
like,
to the Moon Knight.
Yeah,
thing. Moon Knight made my list, and it's a very hard list to kind of rank because there's both respect and disrespect in it. You know what I mean? That you're just kind of,
it kind of comes to a stage where you're like, it's clear.
It's clear, and you're shooting from the hip because it's not like, I know you could call it laziness, and there is a bit of laziness, but I also think it's exactly how I always want this to be.
Yeah, this is what
shoot from the hip.
Yeah, rankers should always be fuck all research, gut instinct, because if you think about it too much, then that's not your real list.
It's kind of like based on what we know about the world when we decide. It's like it's kind of based on like how would this go if we were sitting having a pint?
Yeah.
How would our debate go? As in like, oh wait, like Deadpool versus Deathstroke or something like that. And we kind of go, wait, no, one came for, argue it out.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's undeniably, and it's admitted. And to be fair, it's been admitted.
To be fair.
Right, but no, excellent.
Your partner, no, let's get at her. Come on, what's your number 2?
Yeah, you know what? I'm saving. I was going to put something higher on my list, but I'm saving it for my honorable mention because I've got stuff to say. This was lazy.
Oh, the image choice.
Yeah, well, apparently this is. I know you're going to catch me.
You're going so well.
I know. I got one. Look, it was one. One.
You're getting
there. If I get away with one, I'm getting there.
Thank you. Let's not point out his flaws. Let's hail his improvements.
You know Thank you. But it's a Black Cat and Catwoman.
Yeah. Like, look at the aesthetics. Like,
yeah, they tried, and it's even just like, and they both had like their biggest draw or second biggest draw, or certainly up there, which was Spider-Man, Batman, respectively.
Yeah.
And that is, that like femme fatale-ish. Not quite all the way there, but like definitely like a dangerous woman, a gorgeous, dangerous woman that you don't want to get caught up in. And she's like, I don't know, maybe a burglar who's like, a gymnast who's also really good in close combat quarters, who's based themselves around a cat. This one, like, This one was lazy.
Yeah.
And that's why it's further up. We didn't really go positive or negative with this, so I guess I could have gone either way. But I decided to go negative. I decided to go negative near the top because this one, again, and again, this is an excellent moment visually. Again, I'm sorry about the quality of the image, but Deadpool is a fantastic character.
Yeah.
That wouldn't exist without Deathstroke.
And he looks so much better in HD as well.
Yeah, thanks. but Deadpool is a fantastic character.
Yeah.
Without Deathstroke, he would have gone, oh, I love the fact that he's like an enhanced merchant's assassin.
But without Deathstroke, Deadpool probably
just it simply wouldn't exist. And that's fair enough. But this time they went so lazy. Yeah. I just felt it was so uninspired and lazy that they just went, they even put cat in the name.
Yeah.
You know, like imagine if like imagine if Deadpool was called Killstroke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Deathpool.
Like it's like how uninspired is that?
Yeah.
And again, it's like agility. It's agility, close combat, like thief, anti, like not all the way bad, but bad.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just laziness, absolute laziness. And I can never, and I really, for all day, and I think it's great that they brought B-list, what you would have called 10 years ago, B-list, C-list, even D-list, like Moon Knight, man. I thought Moon Knight was a guy I used to like break out in conversations when I was 19 or 20 and kind of go like, do you guys even know Moon Knight? You know, like the music equivalent, like of underground, like you guys even listen to Haken? But now he has his show and he's got like, don't touch her, leave her the fuck alone. I promise you she'll bring you nothing but grief.
Yeah,
comparisons, and especially Spider-Man, who's got such a rich roster.
Yeah, no, they are making a Black Cat movie, aren't they? Pretty sure they've been talking about it for a while over in Sony.
Okay,
and Sony don't make great movies, though. Unfortunately, they have not made a great movie in a while.
They just have the rights
in terms of superheroes.
Imagine having the rights to everything in Spider-Man, but Spider-Man.
It's kind of like I call over to your house and you've got awesome ties, but you're not using them right. And like that's what Sony is.
I'm using the box.
You know what I mean? Like
the box my Millennium Falcon came in. Right?
Yeah.
Look how big this box is.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's what Sony is to me. It's like they've got a load of fucking awesome ties. They just don't know how to play good games with them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Black Cat and Catwoman, like it's ridiculous how lazy it is.
It's just ridiculously lazy.
Yeah, and the thing is with like Deadpool and Moon Knight and Thanos, the inception is incredibly obvious, but the way they expanded the character is very different. But if you look at Black Cat and you look at Catwoman, they're pretty much the same person. You know what I mean? Like, and you're never going to outdo Catwoman because you know what I mean? You're just not. She's just too iconic.
Well, you're trying to out Catwoman.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
it's stupid. So like that's your number two. It's a good number two because it's a blatant ripoff. It's probably one of the more blatant ones as well. So like my number one, I'm a fucking massive fan of the graphic novels and a huge fan of the TV series. Haven't seen the new season yet because I'm waiting for it all to come out. But this is undeniable where the influence came from. But the version that they came up with.
Can you do it 3, 2, 1 and I take a stab at it?
3, 2, 1.
Homelander.
Yeah. So pretty much Homelander was brought to life originally by Garth Ennis in the comic books. I'm a giant Garth Ennis fan. Love Preacher and love Hellblazer as well. Like incredible writer. But the way he's been turned, like Anthony Starr, who's an actor I've lauded for a long time from Banshee, and the way he's been brought to life by Anthony Starr is fucking amazing. Like it's so fucked up. So
he is the Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
of this generation. No, but you remember Robert Downey Jr. became Tony Stark, and we all agreed. We agreed when he was in that military vehicle, 30 seconds, 40 seconds into the film, that this was the greatest casting ever. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
And but he didn't get that. When he landed, I was like, because I read all the comics, I was thinking I need more buff, a bit taller or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then he just needed a little bit of time just to show me what he's about. And I was like, this is the most evil motherfucker I've ever seen committed.
So good.
Like narcissistic. Like, I mean, Thanos was ultimately trying to save the universe. And this guy like loves to drink breast milk. He's
He's like
he's just
jerking off on
everything.
top of the skyscraper. Do you remember?
Because I'm saying I can do anything I want.
Yeah.
No, he's all, and I'm up to date on season 3, and let's just say doesn't turn into a great person.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
anyone that's read the graphic novels knows Homelander is the biggest piece of shit that you'll ever come across.
Yes.
And the fact is, imagine having the biggest piece of shit, but not only is he the biggest piece of shit, he's also got Superman's powers. And that's what probably Garrett Ennis was thinking. What if Superman was a piece of shit? And that's what literally Homelander.
And not just like a bad guy, you're saying, like, because we have Ultraman or something, I think, which is the inverse universe, and it's the criminal syndicate or something they're called, and it's all like bad Justice League members.
Yeah.
But like they just want like the power, but they're very open about it. It's like the power and money and stuff, and they have that. But he's that slimy motherfucker. He's that executive motherfucker. He's that greaseball fucking agent motherfucker.
Yeah, man, like he's so fucking good. Like it's a genius creation of a character, and not only is he so good of a character, like that he's so good on screen, but like when you read the graphic novels, he's terrifying in the graphic novels every bit as much as he's terrifying in the show. To have someone that has such a fucking skewed sense of reality and morality, to have that kind of power set is an absolutely fucking terrifying thing. It's something we spoke about before. It's like, imagine being in the room with someone like Superman. Just being in the room with someone that has that power. And Superman's a good guy. He's a good fucking guy, like, you know what I mean? So if you're in the room with Homelander and you know what he's like, imagine how terrifying that would be. The fact, like, what holds Superman back is the fact that he's morals. That's what makes him human. It's his morality, whereas Homelander is completely disconnected from reality and his sense of morality.
But he's also a product. He's a barcode.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like he's literally a product.
Terrifying, man.
Yeah,
Like so. Like I think when you make a ripoff, if you want to call it ripoff, or if draw inspiration from a pre-created character, this is the way to do it.
Agreed.
This is the way to take the power set and use it in a completely different way with a completely different mindset. So pretty much it's kind of like, you know, I'm going to take Superman's powers, I'm going to put it into Ted Bundy. You know, that kind of thing. Like, yeah, that's just the thing. Like, you know, so the thing about Superman, what makes him super is not his powers, it's his sense of morality. And that's what makes him Superman. Because like people can say what they want about his powers, but his sense of right and wrong is super unto itself. His sense of saving people and doing the good and doing all these things, that's what makes him a Superman. Because you know what I mean? Like, so like,
do you remember the early 90s cartoon, late 90s, early 90s? And it was when he's fighting Darkseid, and you know, Darkseid kicked his ass earlier on, but he gives the whole speech and he goes, all my life I felt like I've lived in a world made of cardboard.
Yeah.
So terrified I'm going to hurt someplace or someone. But here we have a rare opportunity. You can take it, can't you, big fella? You know?
Yeah.
And you just he lets all loose how powerful. I get a chill even now. Man, I'm 39 years of age. I think I've seen that first one. It was in my early 20s, and it absolutely gets me every time. It was so perfect
because Superman's done right.
100% did right all of the time.
Yeah,
and he and this guy is literally just one passive aggressive insult away from burning down the world. And he does that so perfectly. What a character.
Yeah,
what a character.
What a great actor as well. Anthony Starr. Like, if anyone's not seen Banshee, go back and check out Banshee. It's a Cinemax show, I think, and it's fucking awesome. It's like 5 seasons long. And like when a lot of people heard about Anthony Starr being cast as Homelander, people are big fans of the boys. They're like a bit unsure. I seen Banshee and I was like, nice, about fucking time this dude gets noticed, because he was so fucking good in Banshee, man. He's the main character in it, like, and him and the way he plays off against, I think it's Ulrich Thompson, the guy just from the Thing prequel, is so fucking good, man. That show is Proctor is the villain in it, like, man, I'd recommend that show to anyone. I recommend Anthony Starr as an actor to anyone, because it shows you what he can do in Banshee, and then come on, Homelander to be one of the most terrifying characters in TV right now. It's fucking insane, especially with like the glut of awesome villains we have on TV at the moment. So I just think to have the comic book be so good and to take Superman and skew him in such a way and have the TV series pick it up to show that Homelander, even though he's a massive ripoff of Superman, is the probably best ripoff you could possibly get of a character like Superman.
That's an excellent choice, and it's grand that you went positive. With me, I want to watch the world burn. Nova Corps. Who are Nova Corps? Exactly. Marvel's answer to Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And they got like the helmet.
What's that picture from? Is that from Guardian?
I don't know. I think it's actually about some upcoming thing. You know, they were kind of touched upon at the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're
It was,
making a TV show called Novacore, I think.
there you go. And my God, it just does not matter. The Green Lantern is so much better in every facet, every single facet. And this is just the laziness again, just like intergalactic police force, because that's what Green Lanterns are.
Yeah.
But A, to be a candidate, you have to be able to overcome immense fear. And
Yeah.
B, you would obviously have to master a ring that can bring everything you can imagine to life and train like a motherfucker. And Novacore, and you know what? I didn't even know fully the background of this. Every time I've come across a comic, I've been so incredibly bored that I got to the point where I've made a conscientious effort not to. So if I'm wrong here, I don't fucking care. Fuck these guys. Novacore. Fuck off. The exact opposite of what you've got going on. The exact opposite.
Yeah, it's like because it's kind of come back to Black Cat and Catwoman. If you want,
in a big way, yeah, absolutely.
If you want to do a good rip,
bigger scale, much bigger. But yes,
because like if you want to rip off someone, try do take inspiration, but don't do complete rip off. Like Moon Knight, Batman, you can see the inspiration, but it's completely different in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Thanos, Darkseid, same thing. But like a Deadpool, even Deathstroke. But you notice one thing is a recurring theme here that. Not once is DC character being not once have we said a DC character that ripped off a Marvel character. It's all been
not in some big way. No, not.
You know I mean?
And I'm sure they exist. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course they exist. But...
I would welcome people to comment in the comment section and tell us that we're absolutely actually no. I'm actually quite sensitive. So maybe
he's a fragile human being.
Yeah. But at the same time, I would invite the discourse. But at the same time, it doesn't seem to quite as often. But then again, you have something that's going since the very late 30s, and then you have something that's going since the 60s. Yeah, and it's not like Marvel's full of ingenuity, but like
of course
there was maybe 20 plus years of stuff, 25 years worth of stuff to work with.
Yeah, it kind of felt like when Marvel didn't have a character to come up with themselves to kind of look at DC's roster. Yeah, the dog kind of felt like that. They're just like, okay, they've got an Arrow dude, let's have an Arrow dude, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like they have a Mad Titan, let's have a Mad Titan, you know.
Absolutely, that's a bit it. And Novacorps is just, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, like when
oh my God, I don't care.
It's once again when you come up against something that's so iconic as the Green Lantern Corps, that like immediately you're going to bring yourself in direct comparisons, and you have to be fucking awesome or very different.
You have to be awesome.
Yeah, awesome or different.
Yeah, and even just the power set's not as good. The way you become one doesn't seem to be as good. The lore isn't as good. So and obviously you've taken the Black Cat thing, but now you've made a core of Black Cats.
Yeah,
and that's fucking awful, man. That's so bad. I mean, maybe it'll be great, but Green Lantern has so much more potential. Obviously, the way DC approach films is just an absolute shit show. I mean, Ezra Miller's life, it represents DC for making movies.
This is Ezra Miller in fucking Hawaii. He's like, big deal. You want to fight about it? Big deal. You want to fight about it? Big deal. You want to fight about it? It's like, calm down. It's big deal. You want to fight about it? It's like, Ezra, chill the fucking big deal. It's like, and Ezra, chill. Like, like somebody really needs to talk about Kevin. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, fucking hell. This dude is like gone off the wall crazy, man. He just needs to stop drinking. Like, seriously, like he needs to stop fucking drinking, man.
They need to stop drinking. He's non-binary.
Oh, sorry, they need to stop drinking. They need to get their act together.
They need to get their fucking act together. How about that? How about respecting? How about we respect your pronouns and stuff, but maybe you need to start respecting people too.
Yeah, stop choking out women. That's all we're saying. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, like, all right, let's move on from fucking Ezra Miller, right? And so you got your number 5, you got your number 1 thrown out there. I get you out my number 1. So now it's time for honorable or dishonorable mention. Not too sure about this because you could be going negative, I could be going positive, whatever.
Just hit me with
the person I picked, and the reason I picked it, because they nearly actually made my list, but they were too similar to someone on my list. But because they nearly made my list, generally my honorable mention usually comes from something that definitely nearly makes my list. I don't just come up with a brand new idea. So usually I come up with 6 picks, you know, that kind of thing. So
I got you.
It down to 5. And the one I picked is because he drew inspiration from a similar character. And he also, he's also very similar to another character on my list, and that is Omni-Man. And
great character.
The reason I picked Omni-Man is, like, obviously, again, he took inspiration from Superman in the same way Homelander. That's why he didn't make my initial list. But if you're going to do it, like do it this way, like this, like Homelander and Omni-Man are two of the most fucking insane villains you got on TV right now, and the fact that both of them are on Amazon at the minute. Amazon are fucking on a roll there with the fucking kind of superhero shows at the moment. But like Omni-Man, when I'm not as familiar with Invincible comic books as you are, so when I went in to see Invincible, it was completely new territory for me. And by
Yeah,
the end of the first episode, I was fairly well acquainted to what Omni-Man's all about. You know what I mean? And that's how you like. I was like, okay, he's terrifying. This guy is fucking terrifying.
yeah,
And like, and it shows you again what you can do. Like when you have someone as powerful as Superman, once again, to harken back to what I said, it shows you what someone like Superman can do when he's skewed in the wrong direction. And Omni Man is probably more similar to Superman in a lot of ways than Homelander in terms of like the fact that he's. I'm not sure it was a Homelander or an alien. I can't remember.
no, grown in a lab,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, test tube baby.
Yeah, so Homeland, like so when you look at Omni Man, his backstory is a lot more similar in a lot of ways to Superman than Homelander's would be, but the power sets are pretty much identical to Superman's, both of them. So that's why Omni Man is my honorable mention, but not on my list because of the similarities he bears with Homelander and the fact that they both kind of rip off the same character. So like you know what I mean, I wanted to vary it up a little bit, but if you're going to do another skewed version of Superman like this, I've only seen one episode or one season of Invincible. I think I'm going to delve into the graphic novels.
Oh, they're
Yeah, I
amazing.
think I need to
I was
because
good when
I
they ended.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait every year to watch it. So like, and then I watched The Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, and I read the comic books, and neither of them ruined one another because they're so different in the mediums.
Exactly. There, of
Yeah,
course, any variance,
yeah,
the butterfly effect moving forward, then
yeah,
yeah, of course, they
exactly.
do
So,
deviate something
so
massive.
like, I haven't sat down with I've been so fucking busy, man. I haven't sat down with a comic book series since last year. Like, fucking had the last comic book series I wrote was like a mini series called Pestilence. It was only like issues long. That was like 8 months ago or some shit. So I've been really chomping at the bit
You're
to sit
due.
down.
You're due.
Yeah, oh man, I'm chomping at the bit because I like one thing I love doing in my pastime is either read novels or sitting down with a comic book series and just blasting out of it in like 2 months or something. And I haven't got to do that in a while. So Invincible, I think, is prime and ready for that. And the reason Invincible, I think, would be my next choice because of Omni Man and because of what I've seen with his story with Invincible himself. It just showed you that there's so much you can do with that character or that power set that's fucking terrifying when you skew it away. And Homelander and Omni Man proved that for me. And that's why both of them are on my list, even though Homelander got my number one and Omni Man had to be my honorable mention because they're just too similar, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of overlap. And again, to go for my sorry, honorable or dishonorable mention,
Yeah.
I went with guy's ball sack.
Crutch Man.
That was supposed to be Gladiator.
It was a rip off of Superman, is it?
The whole thing is that he's got all Superman's powers as long as he has, wait for it, confidence.
What?
Yeah.
Is that real?
He's oh yeah, no. Again, I seen him first. Like his dick is just above my head, so definitely gonna have to figure out this image thing. But
To get landscape images, that's a portrait.
that's a portrait. He fucking threw Juggernaut off a castle onto an island. Juggernaut being an unstoppable force. And literally just fucking picked him up and threw him away like a chump after flying across the universe, the galaxy.
Vinnie Jones played Juggernaut. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, his whole thing is that he's got all the classics: heat vision, can fly through space, can survive, super like invincible, all that kind of stuff. But if you can get inside his head, he becomes. And I thought, like, he's actually a very cool character in the comics.
Yeah.
Extremely well written, and he's got some really cool storylines. And he's developed a lot, like sporadically over the years, but he's been around for enough years to have enough fucking going on. And the fact is that he's still too much of a Superman clone. But I thought his weakness will have to let him down. But his actual lore is what, like, because his species is almost completely annihilated, like Superman's.
So he's an alien as well. Is he? I don't know a lot about Gladiator.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's of the God, what are they called? The sheer whatever. It's a Marvel thing, and Shi'ar or something like that. Yeah. And you'll see him in the next few years, I guarantee you. But again, his species is almost completely annihilated because, again, if you can, in a universe with powers overlapping, if you can get in the guy's head, he's very, very vulnerable. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy took him down with a mop because they got in his head and made him think it was a gun that does such and such and such a thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's just like Rocket Raccoon standing there holding a fucking mop. and he's a guy that can fly through the heart of a sun.
Yeah.
So the pendulum swings a little bit wide for me. So I was going to put in a Superman clone, which is why he didn't reach my list, but I had to kind of touch upon him because I love him.
Yeah.
So I nearly went negative and I didn't go positive. I just literally just think, dude rocks.
Yeah.
It's a strange way to have approached him.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like with the whole list is like you don't know where, like you're saying rip off, and rip off has a negative connotation, but you kind of
It does, doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. So like the thing is, even though it does have a negative connotation, most of the people or most of the characters that made our list was a positive rip off or just a different take or a new interpretation. And like some of them were completely blatant, like Deadpool, like we mentioned, Thanos was blatant, but they did a lot with those characters in their own iterations. But when you have like Crotchman there, like even the aesthetics is way too similar to Superman. Like Homelander, what I love is that the aesthetics is different enough that like it comes across as inspiration less than a clone, like you said. And same with Omni-Man, the inspiration is there, but it's not a clone. So like I think when you're doing these kind of things, the aesthetics has to be different enough to so you can avoid direct comparisons. And when you have Crotchman in blue and red, you're going to get those comparisons. I don't know enough about Gladiator, but like the thing I have a terrible habit is I love superheroes, but a lot of the superhero shit I grew up with, like I've read like hundreds of superhero comic books, don't get me wrong, but like a lot of the superhero shit I've grown up with was cartoons and the movies. So usually that's how I ingest my superhero content since my early 20s. Like I've read a shit ton of superhero stuff. The last like 10 years, maybe 7 or 8 years, 10 years, I've usually watched my superhero content, and the comic books I read would be just like The Boys or Preacher or like White Last Man or Transmetropolitan or something like that.
Loved all that.
You know what I mean? Like, so it just sometimes I think what happened with me was I get so much superhero stuff in other mediums that I've actually kind of gone away from superhero comic books, and I read when it comes to comic books, I like to ingest this different kind of like stuff, like Outcast or something is one. Actually, Outcast might have been the last full series that I read last year. That was like 36 issues long or something. But like that's what I love about comic books. That it's the fucking how varied here, but like when it comes to like superheroes and shit like that, I just seem to be ingesting different mediums. So I think I'm missing out on some stuff that I need to go back and really go do a deep dive into.
Because, oh, God, but even saying that, even like you're talking to me, and I'm deaf. You're a much better director, producer. It's from the same studio as you are. You're throwing shit like that at me all the time, and I'm the comic kind of guy amongst us. But even man, there's no end. We're talking between DC and Marvel, and that's not the like Vertigo or Dark Horse or any of those involved. You're talking like between like 80 years and 60 years of comics, and they're always expanding outwards. So like even I just come across and this person going, like Spider-Man, I return, and it says in a little asterisk, it kind of goes like, read Spider-Man 139. No.
And it's like read Spider-Man 139, Spectacular Spider-Man, written by this
exactly. Like alternate universe or discontinued timeline or something.
No, what I mean? The comic run that was written like between 1977 and 1982 by the specific writer. Like, you know what I mean? That's like I love comic books, but it's so hard sometimes to get all those tertiary characters into you. So like that's one thing I think why I kind of veer towards complete collections, like The Walking Dead. I know The Walking Dead's a linear storyline. It gets 193 editions, but I know it's going to end sometime. You know what I mean? Like Outcast, I know that's going to end. White Last Man, I know that's going to end because I know it's a series. But with superhero comic books, sometimes, I think the best thing to do with it is sometimes either read standalones, or sometimes it's better to just kind of pick a corner of the multiverse that they have existing now. Just go, I'm going to read the Civil War. I'm going to read Civil War 2. I'm going to read the Ultimates. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Because if you want to try and deep dive into Marvel in its totality, you get so fucking lost. It's like you said, like read Spider-Man issue 139 and you'll understand who this dude is. Because you know what I mean? So like it's so huge. The MCU, the Marvel comic universe is so huge that I think that you're better off branching off and taking little niches of it out and concentrating on them, and then you get an understanding of their overall universe. Because to try read everything and try to understand everything and try to capture all these different characters is fucking nigh impossible. And I think that's why I veer off into like a complete series that I know has a beginning and has an ending, and I don't have to like worry about reading about this new alteration of this character and this new version and shit like that every 5 years. That kind of thing. It's more linear for me, and I think that's why I go towards that. And like, when you have a character like Gladiator, like, I've no idea who he is, and I'm sure he's got an awesome backstory and awesome lore. Like, even Guardians of the Galaxy, I had no idea who they were. So it's just
Yeah, I
like,
know exactly.
yeah,
I argued with someone years ago that there'd never be a Guardians of the Galaxy
yeah,
film.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, so I just think like, with these universes, as you said, they've been around for so long. There's always going to be the way they cross paths, and I think that's why if you look at my list, like, I went outside of Marvel and DC, like, in terms of like the interpretations, like with Homelander and Omni Man, because I love the newer versions of these characters that have been around so long, whereas Marvel and DC kind of come up together, so they're very similar. These characters are. But I love, like, when you see someone like a Robert Kirkman going in and like looking at how he can create his own Superman, or how he could tell his own version of the Spider-Man story, a coming age story of a superhero, and the way he did with Invincible, because he said that himself. It's pretty much his Spider-Man, a coming age story, and like they're so outside of that. You never see a Gladiator in a Garth Dennis thing unless it was intentional.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes, like, I just think, Gladiator is a good choice. Fantastic crotch from that picture, but
yeah.
like,
No, no, great crotch. As long as he
yeah,
has confidence.
yeah,
Oh
so.
my god, we're a bit like Gladiator, man.
So like, that's my choices, and they're your choices. Do you have anything else you want to say about this? Right?
No, I want this to end as quickly as possible because I finished on this picture.
Yeah. Why did you just switch to the empty
You know
gaming
what? You
one?
just need to be glad that I'm so bad at this because I think comedically,
And that's a
I
real
think it
extra layer to
lends
do.
itself to the form. I do, I do. I think
Yeah.
if anything, you need to be grateful. You need to hope I never get my shit together. That's. I've gone the other way.
All right. What's called? All right, folks. Right there. What the fuck? Stop pointing at his fucking crotch. All right, folks. I'm your host, Mr. Green.
I'm your host, John Tui.
We are Pair Rankers, and they were our best rip-off superheroes and villains. And I guess if you don't like our list, hit us up in the comments. See you next time, motherfuckers.
Please subscribe, all that kind of jazz that people say at the end of
No, yeah,
that.
like,
All
subscribe. Look at the bottom of the screen. See that button? There's actually no button there, but do like and subscribe anyway, because we don't know graphics. See you next time,
Yeah.
motherfuckers. Peace.
Peaches.